Mobile really attracts people from all around the world and for many different reasons.
Years ago, a student left communist China to seek an American college education. Grandmaster Shawn Liu is not an average immigrant.
He recently sat down with our Eric Reynolds to talk about his story of surviving a tough life, I should say, in China, and also how following Shaolin Kung Fu, that lifestyle has led to an amazing life. Let's get to the interview.
I studied and I trained a lot of people. I began to teach people when I was 12 years old because my skills in the martial arts. We basically train sometimes 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 6 hours a day minimum, and for almost 30 years.
Martial arts has been a part of Master Shawn Liu's life for more than 50 years. He received his first lessons at age 5. Liu's amazing life story is one of overcoming challenges in China. He lost both parents at birth.
When the Communist Party took over the country and they want him to repent, so he repented. That put him as a counter-revolutionary, a person against the Communist Party. So he was pretty in prison. Just for that. The whole family became the enemy of the country. He died in prison. And then I was born right after his death. My mother gave me birth, and the second day had to leave because she didn't want anybody knew this boy was born, and because they wanted her to get rid of it, but she didn't.
Liu was born in an Episcopal church where his grandparents lived and worked. They raised him for only 3 years as the communists started persecuting church members. An uncle took him in.
And my uncle later on died of starvation during the famine, in China in the 60s. So my shifu took me over. And I was just like an orphan at the time. My teacher, that's my shifu. So they were really, really good friends. People call me orphan, and my shifu just said, "You're not orphan, you're my son." And he's been monk for 70 years at the Shaolin Temple. That time, Shaolin Temple, there's no Shaolin Temple anymore. Why? Because the Communist Party didn't want any religion or any church, any temple to exist. The temple became subdivided into villages.
Life was tough under communism.
When I was 5 years old, and then I began to really had to work. I got up at normally 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have any food. 50 cents. We can live with my teacher for 3 months. The people say we're poor. They don't know what the poor was. The whole year, 1 pound of salt, it can last for 1 year, for 2 people. Yeah, it was tough.
Despite the circumstances, Liu's martial arts talent put him before thousands.
In front of 20,000 people, audience during the Cultural Revolution. That was my first demonstration in the big crowd under the Qianmen Mall.
Denied of formal education, Liu became a student of English.
I didn't finish my middle school, did not go to high school. I said, well, I want to go to college. People said, no way. I believed I can do it. I borrowed books because I didn't have money to buy, and I knew 16 letters at the time. I sneak Voice America to study. It took me 3 years. I passed the college examinations, and I made second in the nation in '98. Because of my high score in English, one college took me in.
In college, he made the connection that led to his journey to America and Mobile.
I met an American teacher who belonged to the Baptist Convention. She got me hooked up with, at that time, Mobile College. University of Mobile, give me full scholarship. I'm always thankful to University of Mobile. I became a photographer for the campus, and they treated me wonderfully.
Mobile is where Master Liu started teaching Shaolin Kung Fu again.
I started in 1987, and one lady heard I knew martial arts and wanted to study with me. That time, I was very, very tough because I used the Chinese way. I taught at the University of South Alabama for many years. And then on the side, I teach some martial arts, and as extracurriculum. 1999, I opened my own school.
Over the last 17 years, Master Liu has traveled the world. teaching a lifestyle in seminars and tournaments.
We help people with the mind, body, and spirit and well-being. Over here in the United States, the martial arts was thought as kind of fighting arts, but which is not true. In me, it's about infinite energy. Your belief in yourself, your contribution to the universe, your contribution to the community.
In Mobile, Eric Reynolds, Fox 10 News.
What a fascinating man.
Very interesting.
Master Liu has 3 schools now, his Mobile location and one in New Orleans and Atlanta.
And that Atlanta school, by the way, is the largest Chinese martial arts school in the nation. He plans to open 200 schools in the U.S. in the next 10 years.
Grandmaster Shawn Liu says he builds students from them. He chooses instructors. Thank you. He then builds them into directors into the Shaolin Kung Fu tradition. Well, the port city is ready to welcome a United States Navy ship.
And having a naval vessel in Mobile is part of a Mardi Gras tradition.